The following program is presented by the Tacoma School of the Arts and is solely responsible for its content. Produced in cooperation with KBTC Public Television, Bates Technical College, and a grant from the PBS NewsHour Student Reporting Labs.
Hello, my name is Brian Scannell, and I'm a humanities teacher at Tacoma School of the Arts. You're about to watch a program called Chatterbox. Chatterbox is a student-led TV show where students control all aspects of the production, from operating the cameras, mixing the audio, live editing the show, and of course, researching and interviewing the guests. The staff at KBTC and I served as the advisors to guide them along and encourage their hard work. The final product is something we were all very proud of. On this program, we feature Olympia-based artist Nikki McClure. McClure is involved in all sorts of artistic endeavors, but has gained a national reputation for her woodcut images from black paper and telling stories about life in Western Washington.
Hello and welcome to Chatterbox, a joint production between KBTC Studios and the Tacoma School of the Arts. Today, we're joined with special guest Nikki McClure, an artist, a wonderful artist most recognized for her paper cut work. My name is Lily.
My name is Malachi.
Hi, I'm Gigi, and welcome to our show.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming. Tell us a bit about yourself.
Well, I'm an artist. I cut paper, but I also make children's books as well. And I live in Olympia, but I grew up in Kirkland.
That's cool.
What about your art makes it unique to you?
Well, it's, as any artist knows, it's the making of something that is, it's not necessarily the end product, but actually the creation of it.
Mm-hmm.
And so like today, I finished a piece prior to coming here, but yesterday I didn't even really know where I was going with it, and today it just really happened. And there's that excitement. But what makes it unique is maybe that there's a trick to it. It's just, I take a piece of black paper and I cut out the image from it. And so each week I present it with the same piece of black paper. It's just a square, 11 by 11. And I cut away and a different story has emerged. But not necessarily knowing what I'm going to be doing at the beginning of the week, but by the end of the week something will have happened. Yeah. So I guess that's a little unique. It doesn't take me months and months to paint something.
How long does it usually take you to do a single piece of paper cut work?
Well, I aim for a week, but that's just more because I'm a procrastinator in a way, is that my timeline, the deadline is set. And so to achieve that deadline, I have to move at a constant pace forward towards it. And that kind of usually ends up being about a week a picture. And I don't like to have things extend over the weekend, because when I come back to it, my hand has changed and my mind has changed and my eye has changed, and so that the decisions that those three things are making is going to be different than what they had been making the week before. So lines might be wider or smaller based on whatever happened during the weekend.
Do you have any color schemes that you prefer to use in your works, like blue mixed with pink or orange mixed with red? Black
and white. It's pretty much black paper, white is the removal. But I make a calendar every year, and so that I play with color. And when I first was starting out, I was just doing spot color, which is you just have one color. But now I print 4-color process, so colors are more infinite and variable. But I try to look at how they all feel together over the course of the year and the progression of color throughout the year. But it really is just black and white with one color. And the color to me is important. And by limiting myself to one color, I make that thing that is colored in important and part of the story. It's not just sort of to color in something and like have it be all, I feel like our world is so full of things that are colored in. I mean, we even have coloring books, like what about just the black and white picture, And so by adding all this color, you get so distracted. But the color can be a force for the story. And so I use it as that.
That's really cool. In your opinion, what makes quality paper cut?
Quality paper cut. I guess that's a hard question to answer because, I mean, there's technical aspects of it. But I guess maybe art versus illustration or art. And that's when you have opened yourself up as a maker to something that's beyond you, and it has a sense of magic to it that you don't really know why you're making the picture. You're sort of propelled forward, and you've made this picture, and maybe I don't like it myself, but a year and a half later, I'll get a message from somebody how that image actually carried them through and carried them across a difficult time in their life, and it was a healing image for them.
Wow.
And it's like, oh, wait, that's why I made that picture, was for that person. It wasn't for me. And so I guess that's maybe a quality experience for me. And it's not like I strive for that each time. I really am just making pictures for myself. But sometimes in the failing to feed my own self, I shouldn't discount it because it feeds other people.
I read that you would make up songs and sing on some of your nature walks. Have you ever considered pursuing anything in the music industry?
Industry. That is all true. My first job after college was working, actually during college, I worked in the woods in the North Cascades and also the Olympics studying birds. And so I'd be left alone on these logging roads, and I would sing songs to scare away bears, because there really would be bears around the next corner. So I'd be walking pre-dawn, you want to get to your site to watch the birds at dawn, because that's when birds are really active, and so I'd be singing these songs. And I did perform, and I did make records, but
nice.
Industry is kind of a generous word. So actually right now at the the History Museum, there's an exhibit of the Olympia music scene, and so there's some of my singles are part of that.
Oh, wow.
But as I started performing more and going on tours and performing in bars, and this was before like smoking really became kind of something to be done in private. So the bars would be full of smoky, drunk people, and that's not my scene. So I'd be singing these songs that were very raw and vulnerable, and it got kind of scary in some ways, I felt vulnerable and open. And so by making art, I found was a safer place to be, to carry through with my visions, and I could just be at home and not in a smoky bar. Yeah.
How do you think your life would be different if you hadn't worked in the Department of Ecology?
Well, it's funny. I kind of think of it the other way. How would my life be different if I hadn't quit the Department of Ecology? Because when I was at the Department of Ecology, and maybe that was a good lesson for me, because I worked in a sweet office. It was just me and my boss, and he was great. And he didn't have any overhead lights. He just had a little desk lamp. It was really mellow, and the window looked out, and there was a forest. But still, I had to be there at 8 and leave at 5. And just walking around the halls and seeing all the people that had been there for 30 years, I was like, I don't want to be one of them. So by immersing myself in that experience, I realized that it wasn't for me. The 8 to 5, 30 years desk job, which, now I work 9 to 2 in my desk, but so I still have a desk involved, but there's not as many meetings. And it informed my life, and through that it made me jump off the bridge and become an artist. So that was good.
Yeah. A lot of kids imagine themselves growing up and becoming an artist someday, but not many people actually pursue it. You did. Did you always want to be an artist?
I did always want to be an artist. I was always like, I'd dress up in fancy costumes, and because artists dress up very fancy. And I would draw and draw and draw all day long and play artist. But to me, looking back, it was kind of like I was playing like a princess. Like it was this unattainable dream, like it just wasn't going to happen. because I didn't ever know any artists. And so one of the reasons I do things like this I'm doing right now is just to let you guys know, aspiring artists, that there are artists out there, and it's not unattainable at all.
Mm-hmm.
That's amazing.
Anybody else?
Are you currently working on any big projects right now?
I am. I just finished a book about Pete Seeger.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And it's written by Colin Malloy from the Decemberists.
Oh, nice.
And it's a poem, verse, song. It's called The Golden Thread. I'm just doing the cover sketches now. So I make the whole book. I started in August of 2016. It is now April 2017, so I've been working pretty much nonstop on that.
Yeah.
And then I'm also started the calendar. I make a calendar every year, which I kind of think of bringing back to that music idea is, I think of it as making an album.
Mm-hmm.
There's 12 songs in it, and I put out an album every year.
12 months.
It's a calendar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So those are big projects.
Yeah. How did you start getting into calendars? Like, why did you do that?
Well, I had my first art show was in October, and it was very successful. I did a children's book called Apple, and a coffee shop person who did like the gallery for the coffee shop, she approached me and said, "Oh, I have an opening in January. Do you want it?" I was like, "Yeah, sure." And so November passed, and then December came. I was like, "Oh no, I gotta make something for that show. What am I gonna make?" And my friend said, "Why don't you make a calendar? It's January." And so I did, and all of a sudden, like it was, oh, now I can make a picture about January. I can make a picture about February, one about March. Like everything, when you're given everything, it's really impossible to make a picture about. Because, the world's so beautiful as it is. But if you're given a box and inside of it is January, then you can pull from that and say, oh, okay, now I know what I'm going to make a picture about. And it was also really finite. There were 12 pictures, and then you were done. So I did that, and that's when I started. And that was 1998.
Wow, you've been doing it for a long time.
Yeah, that's when I need the rocking chair now. Yeah.
I can say with confidence that a lot of people in this room are procrastinators too. So, since a certain majority of your books are based on your life, do you have any books that you look forward to writing?
Well, the books are based on my life, but they're kind of fiction, nonfiction too. They're because under the guise of making children's books, magic things can happen that can't maybe necessarily happen in real life. So as books that I'm looking forward to making, I'm making one once I'm done with what's in front of me. I have another book coming out, and it's all written, and the pictures are all done. And it's about how we ask kids, what are you going to be when you grow up? So, what are you going to be when you grow up?
I want to be an 8th grade social studies teacher.
8th grade social studies teacher? How about you?
I don't know.
Okay.
Maybe something in film. That'd be really cool.
How about you?
Yeah, I want to be a filmmaker too.
Filmmaker?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we ask kids these things, even young kids, what are you going to be when you grow up? And there's like this sense and my son, he just still doesn't know what he wants to be, which is great. He's 12, there's a world. But instead of asking us what are we going to be when we grow up, what are we going to make when we grow up? What are our hands going to make? And through that, by people making, that things are made by hand, and that people who make things by hand, it feeds a certain part of your brain and it makes you really happy to make something. So it's kind of a book about how things are made by hand, but also what will this child make when they grow up. So that's kind of what's next. But, one of my favorite artists and authors is Tove Jansson. She was a Finnish artist, and she wrote children's books called Moomin, the Moomin series, Moomin Trolls. She also did comic books. But at a certain age, kind of in her early 50s, she just stopped writing children's books.
Oh, really?
And she just started writing adult fiction, and it's fantastic. It's really good. I highly recommend it. So, who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Life, there's a path, and I just have a machete, and because nobody has taken that path that I decided to take, so I'm just carving away, and I look back and there's a path, but forward, there's just...
Yeah, nothing's ever like certain.
Yeah, you don't know.
Yeah, I used to want to be an astronaut.
You really want to be an astronaut?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
I wanted to be the president.
You did?
Really?
Yeah.
That would be really cool.
I'll vote for you.
I know paper cut isn't necessarily like the most popular art form ever. How did you know that it was the right art form for you?
By doing it. The moment that I tried it, it just felt so good.
Yeah.
Like it really was, it put me into a relaxing place. It was meditative. And what I wanted to achieve in my mind was being achieved instantaneously as I was cutting away. And that prior to that, I'd been doing linoleum cuts and scratch board. And so you're scratching and carving and gouging, but paper cut, you can just sort of, and it's gone. That now all of a sudden you have a white space.
Yeah.
And you didn't have to have that process of printmaking that, or working in reverse. And it just felt good. And it brought, you know, it just made my brain feel good, really,
felt right.
ultimately. Yeah.
Do you have any other influences that you would like to name?
Influence is a, well, you mean like people or
Like
things?
inspiration?
Yeah.
Well, I don't have an art background. I didn't study art at all. So I studied science.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and natural history. So I studied, when I went to Evergreen, I realized I didn't know anything about this place I'd grown up with. I didn't know my neighbors. I didn't know that that was a Douglas fir tree, and that was a cedar tree, and this is a hemlock tree, and this is a Sitka spruce, and this is salal, and this is evergreen huckleberry and red huckleberry. And so I just started learning as much as I could about who the creatures and plants I lived around. And so I think I find most inspiration from things like moss and rain. And you know, today I saw western grebe out on the water, and that was very exciting. So I am inspired when I take a walk every morning before I work. And I live right next to a park with big, giant, towering trees. And I take a walk because my studio is in my basement of my house. So if I walk to work, it's just down a flight of stairs. And that doesn't really help my body or my mind to like then go into a creative space. So I walk about 2 miles and come back, and that's my walk to work. And in that time period, I see all sorts of things.
Oh, nice.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
What part of publishing surprised you the most?
What part of publishing? The time. You know, that first calendar I made in a month, and I had it ready in January. The calendar industry, the calendars are already designed by February of the year before.
Wow.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
So there's no response to anything that's happening in the world. Mine, I'm late. I make mine in August. Like that's when they're ready to go. So, so that. Also, you know, when you're making a children's book, I finished the art just now, a couple weeks ago, but the book won't be ready for a whole year and then some. So it won't be out until May of 2018. So there's all this time, and I don't really understand how they spend that time.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, I work clip to clip, and all of a sudden it enters the publishing world, and it's this black hole, and it takes a long time. Yeah.
It's no secret that you're a very big advocate for nature, like you said, and you love nature. So how did you know that Washington was the right place?
I was born here.
Yeah.
I am totally a Puget Sound lowlander. I don't even really like the mountains. I like being in contact with the water. In Kirkland, I didn't have the tidal flow, but I had Lake Washington, but I didn't have saltwater access. But in Olympia, once I got to Olympia and smelling low tide and being able to hear high tide by the gulls, not having much to do, so they fly around and just scream all the time. And And just being aware that there was this tidal flow. It's 19 feet of difference from a low tide to a high tide. So, and it's a constant thing going on, irregardless of what us humans are doing. So that's when I really put down my roots, was in Olympia more. But I grew up in Kirkland, moved to Olympia soon after I turned 18, and I've been there ever since. I just knew it. I mean, I didn't really go very far. Yeah. just down to the farthest. Just floated all the way down and was left there at low tide, just kind of in the mud.
It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah. No, I'm not a city person, and in some ways I find that, this whole area is just, I'm 48 years old, and so I've seen so many changes. So many people have moved here or been born here, and it's just changing a lot. So sometimes I think of even more remote locations, like a boat somewhere floating. Like, that's kind of my next, maybe I might live on a boat somewhere.
That'd be nice.
Who knows? There's always that sense of optimism.
Yeah. The unknown. Yeah, you don't want to be too comfortable with life, really.
So how has nature impacted your art throughout the years?
It's a source of inspiration, like I said. It's everything. And to me, I find that my work is narrative. There is a story in it, and there's often humans in it, but the focus isn't necessarily the human, it's the non-human, and my relationship with the non-human. So nature is that, and I feel that we get so caught up in our own dramas, and not to say that our lives don't have pain and suffering and injustice at every turn, especially more now than ever, but I sometimes feel like our focus is so on people that, in this last presidential cycle, there was no mention of the environment at all.
Yeah.
Nothing. And so in living in one spot for so long, I've seen the diminishment of so many species of birds, of butterflies. To see a butterfly now is crazy,
Mm-hmm.
And maybe it's just my memory as a kid, there are butterflies everywhere, like a Disney movie or something. But there were more butterflies. There really were.
It's a lot more rare today.
Yeah. So, my work speaks to that, and I try to remind us that there is this world other than ourselves, and that it is a constant, and it will go on, but at the same time, something's going on bigger that, so not to be such a downer here in Tacoma, but it is happening.
Yeah.
Yeah. A little moment of silence for the trees. Yeah. Yeah.
So, artists experience art block and writers experience writer's block. Do you do anything other than taking walks to relieve you of this?
Yes, I sweep. Seriously.
Oh, that's great.
And I leave my studio often when I'm most excited about something. So that way I'm drawn to it. I want to go back and finish that thing. And then sweeping, though, clears your brain. It's just this repetitive thing. And to me, it's something that somebody related to me 16,000 years ago swept. So it's sort of this ancestral kind of linkage. And sweeping, and then everything's nice and tidy, and then you begin and make another mess.
One last question. What is one piece of advice that you would give to an aspiring artist?
Just go for it. And don't be afraid to make mistakes, because through making mistakes, you're going to learn. That's the only way, first person that, you just keep, and it compels you forward. Every day I make a mistake in my art, and it just keeps pushing me forward. So, and the only way to make mistakes is if you try. So don't wait to be asked. Just go for it and have a great time.
That's really good advice.
Once again, thank you so much for coming. This has been like really great. I really enjoyed interviewing you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks. Thanks, you guys. Can't wait to see what you make. Yeah. Bye.
Well, we're talking about things now. Wrapping up.
Thanks for watching Chatterbox, a production of the students at Tacoma School of the Arts with the help of KBTC Public Television. I hope you enjoyed this program.